Everybody. This is my capstone project presentation for my lesson on how to stay healthy and active during COVID-19. The two tools I am incorporating into my lesson are MyFitnessPal and various types of wearables, which is optional for the lesson, but we can get into that later. They can use different smartwatches, activity trackers, pedometers, and even versions of smart clothing. MyFitnessPal. So MyFitnessPal is a tool used to keep track of exercise and diet. And for this lesson, it's going to be basically a electronic diary or journal to keep track of their food and water intake and how much physical activity they're getting during a stay-at-home order or a shelter-in-place or quarantine order. The instructors can access this website by creating an account just like the students do, and it is no cost to use. You can purchase the premium package, which gives you some additional features, and that's priced at $9.99 a month or $49.99 a year, but that's not necessary for the lesson that we are doing today. So here is the page when you type in www.myfitnesspal.com. Once you go up here to the login button, you will create a username and password. Students would just use their student emails for their usernames. Then they have all the different things to type in that's customizable to each student. So they have things like their weight, height, gender, how they would describe their normal daily activities, ranging from sedentary to active, how many times they plan on exercising a week. I just went ahead and set that to the recommended amount that we talk about in a lesson. And then what your goal is, being that to maintain weight, or if the students want to lose weight, it gives you an option to safely lose weight or gain weight. You can only do at max like lose 2 pounds a week and gain 1 pound a week. So it does it in a safe manner if you do want to lose or gain weight. Once you have that information typed in, it gives you your nutritional goals, divvying that up into your carbs per day, fats per day, and protein per day. And then you have your fitness goals, which tells you how many calories or so you will burn per week with your fitness goals. And then once you have all that information, this is what your home screen will look like. You can easily input your exercise and food by just clicking right there. And then there's a little quick ad over here on the left-hand side. So I'm going to add breakfast here. And you can just search the food in your database. And if you use the app on your phone, there is an option where you can scan a food in if it has a barcode. So let's say for breakfast I had Cheerios. I'm going to search that. I will click Cheerios right here. And then add to diary. You can also click on the nutritional info over here as well. Once you've had that added in, then down here, of course, you can see your remaining calories for the day. Breaks it all up into how many macronutrients you've taken in for the day down here, and gives you a bunch of other different information such as sodium, sugar intake as well. Students can then access the group forum that we use with the lesson through the community tab up here. And then they will click on groups. Once they click on groups, they can look up this lesson plan, but I can also invite the students to join the forum. And this is what it looks like. This is where I can post different types of announcements. And then this discussion part here, that's where the students will type up their discussion posts that I have incorporated throughout the lesson. And they can keep track of each other, just kind of communicate with one another in this way and help encourage each other along the way. And then to access the very large online database that they have, you can go to MyFitnessPal blog. They have a bunch of different articles from different health professionals and authors like that. You can search them if you want, but here's how you access those. Some benefits of using MyFitnessPal is that it keeps track of your food and water and daily activity intake. So it's basically just like a digital diary, and you can access it from your phone, which makes it super easy. It is free. It allows students and users to connect with their peers and other like-minded people, more so like-minded people for when they potentially use it in the future, because it is something that's great to use later down in life. And additionally, that access to that free online database for all things health, nutrition, fitness. The next tool that I'm talking about is wearables, and wearables are tools that can be worn comfortably on the body to track and measure information on a real-time basis. And they use sensors to connect you as a person to achieve your fitness goals, how to stay active, help you stay more organized, or even just track overall mental and physical health. Instructors access it through their own wearables or just their knowledge of how to use them. They can be costly. Some higher end ones like the Apple Watch or the Fitbit, they can go up to $400, but you can also purchase a standard pedometer, which can range somewhere between $5 and $20. So it just kind of depends on the socioeconomic status of really the class or school that you're working with, because they're not necessary for this lesson, but they do kind of enhance it if they do have it. So here are some options of different kinds of wearables, and they look all pretty similar to this one, or these different images here. Here's some images of some higher end ones. These ones that have a green light on the underside, those ones will help keep track of your heart rate. So if you can see the little heart on the Fitbit there, it says 72. So it's using the green light on the bottom side of that screen to help keep track of that. That's one nice perk of having maybe a higher end wearable, but that's not completely necessary since you can manually measure your heart rate. So some benefits of using the wearables are that they measure your heart rate, your steps, and some either measure your breathing pattern. Measure your breathing patterns automatically. It's a fun, stylish way to help kind of monitor and keep track of your health. And this is something they can also use in the future as well. Kind of carry that on to the rest of their adulthood if they do purchase one. All right, moving on to my lesson. My lesson kind of incorporates traditional type lesson, just talking about the basic information for the class that they need to know, the tool incorporations, including posting in that group forum at least 3 times over the 2 weeks. We do have various activities with the tools, such as posting in the forums, but also for the wearables, doing a quick little activity where they stand up, or they sit and they measure their heart rate. They stand up, do a minute of activity, sit down and measure their heart rate again, and kind of compare it to what their wearable has, or just measure it if they don't have one. There are various handouts that just we use where we talk about the blood flow through the body and through the heart. And then there's also a review that I give them for a comprehensive quiz. They do have a quiz. And then throughout the 2 weeks, they do have a unit project that they must work on. The unit project consists of them tracking their food for a week and then using that information to compile a short slideshow or PowerPoint presentation on their goals, how they did, what they learned, and everything like that. Some things I expect to gain from this lesson. I hope for the students that they kind of help take a hold of their health for themselves in this kind of odd quarantine-like setting, where it could be maybe a little bit more difficult to do so, that they learn the importance of healthy diet and exercise, have a better understanding of how the human heart works, how to adapt to the current situation at hand. I know it can be frustrating and just seems so different from what everybody's used to, but being able to adapt and be flexible with what they're doing and kind of work with what they have and then maybe learn something new. For myself, I hope to gain practice with online teaching and then just learn to be better throughout the entire experience. Some possible challenges I might have or I can foresee happening is for MyFitnessPal, access to that computer, internet, or a smartphone, the access to view other group forums. They can search other group forums if they want, and they can be added if they ask. Some are private, some are public. For our lesson, it is private, so nobody can join without permission or anything from me. Um, but they do have access to those other groups. They can see them following the community guidelines that the app sets or the website sets. The term diet may be being used a little too frequently. Sometimes I think that word has a bad connotation with it, and it can be impressionable on some people. So just really reassuring when I talk about diet that it's just meaning health as a whole, basically, instead of just to lose weight, like I think it sometimes gets compared to. And then the difficulty for visually impaired students. For wearables, I can see a challenge with the affordability or being able to have one. That's kind of why I made it optional, because you don't necessarily need it, but it does kind of um, help enhance a lesson if you do have it. It has to be charged or have batteries in order to work, so it must always be ready to go, basically. And then maybe being difficult for different types of impaired students or learners. And here are my references.